Imagine you are stationed in northeastern Poland when you hear about the news that the Germans have invaded your country. You're far away from the battles, but then on September 17th, you hear that the Soviet Union has invaded your country and your city will soon be in the front line. This here is the story about a forgotten World War II battle, the Battle of Wilno in September 1939. Poland versus the Soviet Union. Keep watching. Back in 1939, this city was known as Wilno, and it was part of the Second Polish Republic. See, after World War I, Poland and Lithuania emerged as independent states. They both claimed the city of Vilnius. Eventually, the Polish got the upper hand and they incorporated the city into the Second Polish Republic. Tensions remained. The city had a Polish and Lithuanian heritage, among others. And during the interwar period, the Polish government suppressed non-Polish sentiments. Germany approached the USSR in May 1939. Hitler had a plan to invade Poland, but he was not sure if he could get away with it. In other words, the Allies, France and Britain, declared war on Germany, and thus he approached the USSR. In July, political negotiations about the affairs of Eastern Europe were started. Early August, Nazi Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop offered a settlement for the area from the Baltic to the Black Sea, and the Soviets, they were interested. See, many of these areas had previously belonged to the Russian Empire, but were lost after the Russian Revolution and the subsequent Civil War. And do notice, when we look at interwar Eastern Poland, a lot of people that lived in Eastern Poland were not Poles. In Eastern Poland, the population was about 43% Polish, 33% Ukrainian, and 8% each Jewish and Belarusian, with a small number of Czechs, Germans, Russians, Roma, Tatars, and others. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, also known as the Hitler-Stalin Pact, was signed on the 23rd of August 1939. This was a non-aggression pact between the two totalitarian states. They would not wage war on each other. In its secret protocol, Eastern Europe was carved up by them. On the 1st of September, Nazi Germany invaded Poland after the Gleiwitz incident, a false flag attack perpetrated by the SS. The battleship Schleswig-Holstein fired its first shots at a Polish garrison at Westerplatte. Poland was simultaneously attacked by the Germans from the north and the west. The German armored vehicles, they smashed through the Polish lines. The Polish army fought bravely against the German onslaught. The British and the French, they demanded Germany to withdraw from Poland immediately. And when there was no response, the Allies declared war on Germany, which happened on the 3rd of September 1939. Despite a valiant Polish resistance, the German war machine advanced through Poland. And if you think it couldn't get any worse, well, it could, because on the 17th of September, the Soviets advanced from the east. Nearby 500,000 combat troops assisted with 4,850 tanks, 5,500 armored vehicles and 2,000 aircraft. They were to capture Wilno, Grodno and Lwów within 38 hours. The first resistance the Soviets encountered was from Polish border troops that were called the Polish Defense Corps, in short the KOP. The KOP soldiers did not lack determination. In northeastern corner of Poland, close to Latvia, KOP soldiers teamed up with local police and volunteers, among which students, to defend their district. One KOP battalion lost 50% of its men. In another encounter near Husiatin, the Polish claimed 200 Soviet dead. But many KOP units followed orders not to engage the Soviets. Many of the local population thought the Soviets were coming in peace, and others thought they were advancing through Poland to take on the Germans. One claimed that the Soviet soldiers acted very friendly, and they claimed they were coming in peace. They were coming to liberate them. But liberate them of who exactly? The Polish government or the Germans? That was to be the question. Meanwhile, in the city of Vilnius, the Polish garrison tried to put up a defense against the upcoming Soviet army. This was marked by disorganization. The Polish commander, Colonel Okulicz-Kozaryn, had seen action fighting for the Russian army in the First World War. He first wanted to organize a fighting retreat towards the Lithuanian border. He was well aware he could not properly resist the Soviets, yet he changed his mind when the first Soviet units appeared, and he was determined to put up a fierce resistance. Very few preparation had been made for a battle. Polish major named Konstanty Wyszynski joined an anti-tank unit and a makeshift defense corps and claimed he would never surrender to those Bolshevik scoundrels. Around 7,000 Polish soldiers that ranged from volunteers to trained men equipped with 15 artillery pieces and several dozen machine guns would defend the city. They were short on mortars and anti-tank rifles, and thus they had to improvise. They made petrol bombs, and a group of student volunteers, they positioned themselves on the hill of the Three Crosses. The first Soviet attack took place the evening of the 18th of September and was repulsed by the Polish defenders. Subsequently, the Soviets continued to push into the city. By the end of that day, the Soviets had secured the airfield and made several thrusts into Wilno, taking the Rasos Cemetery. Elsewhere, men of the Polish 1st Light Artillery regiments resisted the Soviet incursions. One warrant officer recalls. Suddenly we found ourselves in the line of fire. We had our guns set on the road and we walked straight into the Russians like a dumb ox. Thankfully they didn't see us. We went through the yard, aimed our guns at the Russians and fired. The Soviet troops pulled back, but later reappeared with tanks. One Polish soldier, he was from Lviv. He courageously took the grenades, the hand grenades, he crawled up close to the tanks and threw them to the tanks, making them explode. The other tanks withdrew. Thus this Soviet attack was also repulsed. Elsewhere, Soviet tanks appeared with Red Army troops behind them who screamed "Hurrah! For Stalin! For the motherland! Hurrah!" With flanking fire, the Polish managed to subdue many enemies. One Polish soldier recalled. One falls, another comes after him, is hit, and another comes. A whole heap of corpses grew, and not a small one. We fought until evening, and I saw the tanks catch fire one after another, our chaps throwing bottles with petrol. Officially, the Red Army registered 24 killed in action, but most likely the number is higher. Due to their sheer number of troops, they managed to gain the upper hand, and the Polish, they resorted to the initial plan of fighting retreat towards the Lithuanian border. Wyszynski, who had vowed to defy the Bolshevik scoundrels, would not escape them, however. Captured by the Soviets, he disappeared and is thought to have been among the Polish officers murdered in the Katyn massacres. Early October 1939, the Polish campaign was over. The Second Polish Republic was carved up by the victorious Allies, Nazi Germany and the USSR. Eventually, the Soviets granted the Vilnius area to Lithuania. But this was a consolation prize, to say the least, because in 1940 Lithuania was annexed by the Soviet Union, and the Soviets, they perpetrated a reign of terror. Many Lithuanians were murdered or deported, and then in June 1941 Nazi Germany invaded the country. Operation Barbarossa had begun. If you want to learn about other forgotten World War II battles, well, I got you covered. I have a whole playlist for you right here. Subscribe if you have not already. You can support me financially. You can all find the information below. And with best wishes from Lithuania, cheers.